So when I think about branding, I think about stories.
That's good.
Stories. It's probably something that is like we all realize or we know. It's like the stories are awesome, but it's something that I don't think is used as an effective tactic to promote your brand. And the science says that a story takes your logical brain, right, and like your emotional brain, and it's a melting pot of both. And that in that way, you're able to receive or absorb more of what it is that lies before you. And this is why we love movies and shows and all that kind of stuff so much, right? Because it keeps us engaged. And the interesting thing is, it's the same rules apply when it comes to being an entrepreneur, an organization, a small business owner. You're essentially telling a story, and that's what your brand represents. And so when you go about crafting what it is that you do and you want to take it to the masses, right? You want to make an amazing brand. You can't do that without successfully, and there's a science behind it, right? There's a method or process, right? You don't just guess at it. It's been figured out, so you don't even gotta create it from scratch. But you need to figure out what that process is, and then you got to take that and use it as a tactic in your toolkit in order to promote yourself in a much more effective and an efficient way. And you will be glad that you did once you reap the rewards, the harvest, and all the et ceteras, that go along with that. So if you want to learn more about branding and telling your story, tune in to the webinar that's coming up. You won't want to miss it. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in.
I'm going to piggyback off of what Andra said, about the stories. Stories do mess with your mind and mess with your brain. But here's the thing about a good story. You make sure to put it in perspective where you can use it versus it using you. So what do I mean? We love scary stories. Well, I used to, not much anymore. But scary stories used to have me staying awake at night. Why? Because it was using me. I didn't have my mindset in such a way to realize this thing's not really real and it's not going to hurt me. So then how does branding and marketing fit into your story? Well, first of all, let's put it together in such a way that you can use it versus it using you. There is nothing worse than having your brand leading you by the nose versus you leading it into the avenues that it's supposed to go, whether it be your specific niche, whether it be your specific content, regardless of what it is, you need to be able to use your story to the best possible way to bring about the best possible outcome, regardless of what that's going to be. So think about not just your story, but how can you use it versus it using you. Can't wait to see y'all at the webinar.
All right. I absolutely love this conversation, guys. We'll talk about the story, because if you know what draws people in, like Andre said, it is your story. The question, though, is how do you get that story out? How do you put all the pieces together? Because when you think of a story, it's what draws people in. We all are human beings. We all make mistakes. We all have our hiccups in life. And having your story resonate with people that know you is really going to help you get your brand to that point where people know you more. And that's really what's important. People don't do business with companies and they don't care about your products or services. They do business with people they like, know, and trust. So make sure you remember that. And everything that you're doing, you want to tie that story in a way that's really going to help resonate with your clients, with your potential customers, which in turn is going to make you have long-lasting relationships with the people that you're doing outreach to. So make sure you do not miss this webinar. It's going to be absolutely amazing. We're here for you. We're here to help you take your business to the next level. Hope to see you there.
Fantastic, fantastic. And I'm sure you've been listening for over a minute now. We're preparing you, we're getting ready for you to make sure that the story that you have is going out there and people are getting your story and they are flying with it. A lot of people have stories. You're an entrepreneur, put the chapeau on that. But how many nights do you go to sleep? When you go to bed, does your mind still run? If today I have this wine and I say, what is the goal that you have for 2022? Do you know it? You have a story that you're writing. You have your product. You have your services. That is great. Now, tell me, how different are you from other people who have stories out there? You are not the only one on this world. I have a story. You have a story. Andra has a story. Rikki, Leslie, everybody has a story. Why should I listen to your story? Do you know what makes your story stand out? You have a lot of money you did invest in your business. Some of you have taken some loan to invest in the business. Who tells you that your business will succeed? And if you are succeeding for the past 5-10 years, do you think that you're going to continue growing? And if you want to grow, you don't want to miss this webinar. Don't forget the time, 11 a.m. on the Central Time. If you're on the Eastern Time, it's 12 p.m. We want you to join this webinar because we want to make sure that your baby, your enterprise, your business that you are sweating day and night to grow, that business is growing with flying colors. So we want to make sure that your branding and your marketing is at the place where it has to be so that you continue to grow. So tune in, and we're looking forward to talking to you. If you have questions, don't forget, take them with you, come and ask them because we're here to answer them. All right? Looking forward to talking to you again.